So let me tell you about the most embarrassing workday of my life. I woke up late, again, because my alarm didn't go off. Or maybe I turned it off without realizing it. Either way, I rushed out of the house, spilled coffee on my shirt, and thought, it can't get worse than this. Spoiler alert, it definitely could. When I arrived at the office, my boss smiled at me and said, "Can we have a quick word?" Can we have a quick word? Now, if you speak English, you know that a quick word is never quick. My brain immediately went into panic mode. I sat down, nodded seriously, and pretended I understood everything he said. Even though I only caught words like deadline, client, and concern. Classic mistake. Never nod if you don't understand. Never. Later that day, a coworker asked me, "Can you take over this task?" I wanted to sound professional, so instead of saying yes, I said, "I'll handle it." Very confident, very brave. The only problem, I had absolutely no idea what the task was. Very brave. The only problem, I had absolutely no idea what the task was. I spent the next 2 hours staring at my screen, hoping the answer would magically appear. It didn't. Then came the meeting. The client said something complicated. Everyone laughed, so I laughed too. Big mistake again. Because right after that, the client looked at me and said, "So you agree?" And I said yes. To this day, I still don't know what I agreed to. To this day, I still don't know what I agreed to. During lunch, I tried to relax, but my phone buzzed. It was a message from my boss. "We need to talk later." That sentence alone should be illegal. My appetite disappeared instantly. I stared at my sandwich like it had personally offended me. In the afternoon, I tried to fix everything. I asked questions, clarified tasks, and even admitted I didn't understand some things. And guess what? The world didn't end. Nobody got angry. In fact, people were surprisingly nice. The world didn't end. Nobody got angry. In fact, people were surprisingly nice. That S when I learned an important lesson, pretending to understand English is way more stressful than actually learning it. By the end of the day, I was exhausted but proud. I survived. I made mistakes. I learned new phrases. I survived, I made mistakes. I learned new phrases. And most importantly, I learned that confusing moments are part of the process. If English sometimes makes you feel awkward, congratulations, you're doing it right. After that day at work, I thought I had learned my lesson. I really did. I told myself, from now on, I will ask questions. I will not pretend. I will be calm. I told myself, from now on, I will ask questions. I will not pretend. I will be calm. And for a few days, it actually worked. Then Friday arrived. Fridays are dangerous. Then Friday arrived. Fridays are dangerous. On Friday morning, my coworker walked in and said, "Let's touch base later." I smiled confidently, but inside my brain screamed, "Touch what base?" I didn't ask. Of course I didn't. I just said, sure, and hoped for the best. Of course I didn't. I just said, sure, and hoped for the best. Spoiler, there was no base and nothing was touched. Later, my boss asked me to keep an eye on things. I took that very seriously. I took that very seriously. I kept checking emails, documents, and even the printer like it was going to escape. At one point, I was so focused on keeping an eye that I forgot to actually do my own work. English is dangerous like that. In the afternoon, something even worse happened. A client called me directly. A client called me directly. Direct phone calls in English should come with a warning label. My heart started racing. I answered, and immediately the client spoke very fast, very confidently, and very unclearly. I understood maybe 30%, so I used my survival phrases. I see, right, and my favorite one, that makes sense. Apparently, it didn't make sense, because the client suddenly stopped and said, "So, what do you suggest?" Silence. Long silence. The kind of silence that makes you question your life choices. I panicked and said the first thing that came to my mind. Maybe we can think about it. Very helpful. Very professional. After the call, I felt exhausted. Speaking English all day feels like running a marathon, except you're sitting in a chair and questioning your confidence instead of your legs. I went to get coffee, spilled it again, yes, again, and my coworker laughed and said, "Rough day." I replied, "You have no idea." And for once, that sentence was perfectly correct. At home that evening, I replayed the day in my head. The mistakes, the awkward moments, the confusion. But I also noticed something else. The awkward moments, the confusion. But I also noticed something else. I had spoken English all day. I survived phone calls, meetings, jokes, even embarrassment. And somehow I was still standing. I survived phone calls, meetings, jokes, even embarrassment. And somehow I was still standing. That's when I realized something important. Funny mistakes are not failures. They're proof that you're actually using the language. People who never make mistakes usually never speak, and people who speak a lot, they collect embarrassing stories. And people who speak a lot, they collect embarrassing stories. So if you've ever laughed at the wrong moment, agreed to something you didn't understand, or said you too when someone said, "Enjoy your meal, welcome to the club," or said you too when someone said, "Enjoy your meal, welcome to the club." This is English learning. It's messy, uncomfortable, funny, and totally worth it. Part 3 Final. Jijn tek parker dus met comic plus dogel plus motivadici videojugezel kapitan ekilde yes yorum. The next week, something strange happened. I stopped being scared of English. I stopped being scared of English. Not because I became perfect, but because I became tired of pretending. When I didn't understand, I asked. When I made a mistake, I laughed. And surprisingly, the world didn't end. During a meeting, my boss said something I didn't catch. Old me would nod like a confused pigeon. New me said, "Sorry, can you say that again more slowly?" And guess what he did? No drama, no judgment, just communication. That moment felt like a small victory. Later that day, I tried to make a joke in English. It didn't land at all. The room went quiet for half a second, then someone laughed, not because it was funny, but because they understood the effort, and that was enough. Trying matters more than being perfect. I also noticed something else. Native speakers make mistakes too. They forget words. They correct themselves. They say weird things when they're tired. Native speakers make mistakes too. They forget words. They correct themselves. They say weird things when they're tired. English isn't a test for them. It's just a tool. And the moment I stopped treating it like an exam and started treating it like a conversation, everything felt lighter. One evening, while walking home, I thought about all the embarrassing moments I'd had in English, the coffee spills, the awkward phone calls, the misunderstood phrases, and instead of feeling embarrassed, I smiled. The awkward phone calls, the misunderstood phrases, and instead of feeling embarrassed, I smiled. Those moments were proof that I was learning in real life, not just from a book. So here's the truth no one tells you. You, Dante, learn English first and then start using it. You use broken English, confused English, funny English, and that's how you learn. Every mistake is a step forward, even if it doesn't feel like it at the time. If you're listening to this and thinking, that sounds like me, then you're exactly where you need to be. Keep listening, keep trying, keep making funny mistakes. One day you'll tell these stories and laugh in English. And if this story made you smile, helped you relax, or reminded you that you're not alone, stay with this channel. We learn English the real way here by listening, laughing, and moving forward.